Bladestorm. What's the tagline in this guy? Fantasy miniature gaming in a dark, chaotic world. Very heavy on the source book stuff. Before I get into that, I have a new cell phone that I'm filming on, so if things look a little crisper, if they sound a little better, it ain't me, it's the tech. We upgrading, baby. As I said, a dark, chaotic world. The continent of Folen, and in our last video I was lamenting the fact that the source book pretty thick. There's a lot of good information in here, I guess, but it feels like there's a pulpy, planetary romantic. I mean, it's fantasy, right? So it's in an ocean. There's like a pulpy setting buried in here, but digging it out is really hard. And the two forces we looked at last time were these guys called the Kavan. And they're the holds, so there's 10 human kingdoms, and there's these Rukon slavers who are like big hair metal rockers, and they're led by Gem and the Machine. What do they call those girls? I don't know. Yeah, see, look at that. Totally 80s, totally tubular, totally fantastic. And then they go up against the Kavan, and the Kavani are actually these Angus McBride, little shout out. The Kavani are these bird-headed guys with the bird helms. Pretty sweet. I'm still not sure who these guys are, but I was thinking about it. Look, we might be able to suss this out. Check it. They've got like dark plumes on their helmet. They've got this weird, I don't know, like a Mayan bird looking to the left, maybe is what it's supposed to be. Or maybe it's a guy holding a hamburger. Something like that. I know the glare is pretty bad. So it occurred to me, hey, wait a minute. This isn't the only source book we've got. We've got this handy-dandy painting guide that came in menu boxed set. All right, so it's the 1980s, so you get a little box and it's about the size. Anyway, it's a color guide. So now we can take a look at this, and this might give us a little better appreciation for what each of the holds and all the people are like. We've got troll killers. I wonder what the inspiration for that is. We've got these Bearman Soul, and these guys are going to be important for today's video. But we can take another look, and this is how I know that the bird brains from the cover are Kavan, because here it says right here, this is one of the Iron Voicemen. Kind of a cool label. I don't know what that means yet. And then you've got some River Guards, you got Bane Warriors. He's got to be a smeltworky looking boy, right? This guy here, look, knife here, right? So now I'm getting a better appreciation that the Mardiari are, we're going to party hardy Mardiari. I like those guys. Those must be the elfish types. Monochrome Lugrok, probably your orcish equivalent, right? Wolf Runner, so they got the wolfy hens. But I'm still looking for, and here we go, right? So here's our, well, here it doesn't look like three fingers anymore. I don't know, we could probably read it up. But there's your Cuth Slaver from Rukon. So this is Kavan Rukon. That's the main event in the world, if you will. But as I was saying, I wanted to talk about the Bearman because our scenario today pits. Let me read this to you. We're doing Call of the Wild. Somebody get Jack London on the phone. We'll see if we can get Jack Focus on the phone. There we go, right? This is an intermediate game scenario. The first two were very basic, right? We had 3-on-3, no morale scores. We didn't have to worry about damage reduction for our armor. Really feeding us the rules nice and easy. I kind of regret that in the first scenario, I should have just played it basic. What are you going to do? So now we're adding in, we're going to add in the shield bonus. Okay. And let me just read this to you. In the Badlands of Sol, I told you that was going to be important. Near the Falling Wood, Finial and Teliol, two adventurers from Kavan. Now, I don't have any bird-headed figures that I can think of off the top of my head, so I'm just going to use some proxies. Finial and Teliol stumble upon bearmen. These bear handlers release one of their charges to attack the two adventurers. Now, here it's called a large bear, right? And I don't have a large bear. I might actually have a large bear. But today I'm going to be using the owl bear, okay? Now, the reason I'm using Mr. Owl Bear here is because we have kind of a love-hate relationship, don't we? And again, partly because I don't have an owlbear figure. But as we kind of look at the background of this, page 29 talks about the fact that the bearmen, I thought it was page 29. That shows you what I know. I could probably edit all this out. Spoiler alert, I'm not. The Bearmen of Sol, a lycanthropic race. Now, this is how you start a faction write-up. Don't tell me how big their territory is. Geography's boring. Surrounding the 10 warring holds is a host of goblins, ogres, trolls, elves, and the mysterious jeweler. Ooh, I gotta research that. But the Bearmen are a lycanthropic race. The Bearmen of Western Falen, remember that's the continent, they constitute a remnant of an ancient religious order with very peculiar origins. Their isolated domain, which roughly corresponds with blah, blah, blah. And then we're back into the, oh, geez. Anyway, bunch of like werebears running around the woods, okay? And I can even, if we want to break out a little bit further, we'll see if we can make the demon of the box speak. Not today, just on the initial. So we can even dig in here and take a look. They did include this nice glossy, full color, hanging on your wall. So here's our holds, right? There's Kavan, the big guys controlling the ancient drain, and then here's Rukon down here. So they probably engaged in a lot of proxy wars here through this. What would that be? Well, if we come over here and look, that's the full end spikes. That's the dark brown is the mountains, okay? And Sol is located, well, I don't know. Let's flip this over, see what we can find. There we go. There's a much better appreciation for Falen. That's what the name of this kind of continent is, all right? And you can see, and it's kind of neat because it does kind of, we'll talk more about this later, but it does mimic that like descent into madness, because the humans that are mucking about over here, they're down on this plains kind of down near the coast. And the deeper you penetrate the continent, the worse things get, the more primordial things become. In the history of the continent, there used to be a bunch of stargates, if you will, like magic portals on the tips of all these peninsulas, and they've all broken down in the apocalypse since the Duskwalkers have gone to sleep. They're still out there kind of, fooling around a little bit, and they are an actual proper faction in the game. But I wanted to show you that you've got these, the Sol or I'm not going to bother right now. It's probably somewhere around here, right? Because the holds are boxed in by all these dangerous mountain people. And that kind of gives you a little bit of context for today's video. Not part of an ongoing campaign, but it does give you this idea that there's these two Kavani guys. Remember that there's like fountains of jewels and that's why everybody comes here, because the streets are literally paved with precious stones. So today's scenario, Call of the Wild, it's very small. Let's take a look at this. It says here, we focus in there, right? Mixed clear brush heavy wood. To win, a player must eliminate all his opponent's combatants. Adventurers set up first within 1 inch of the north edge, and the bear sets up last within 1 inch, and then he moves last. But it also says here that it's 16 by 11. All right, well, I'm going to turn this a little bit here so we can take advantage of the portrait size, okay? So our bear man's going to start somewhere over here. And our two heroes, and we'll take a look at their abilities. This is the guy armed with a compound bow. So there's our adventurer 1, and I'm just going to drop him there for now. And here's our boy with the broadsword and the oh no shield, okay? So that is going to be Finial here. It's a rapier, and a shield. He's got a defensive 9, but one time he can block one opponent per turn for +3. Provided that opponent is in his fore arc or his left arc. If he gets flanked on his right, no dice for the shield bonus. I mean, there's no dice anyway because it's +3, right? So that's Finial. And then Telial has got a falchion, which is see how he's got the little sword held up high? He's got a composite bow, and he's got more hit points, but he's got more damage reduction, but he doesn't have a shield, which makes sense. And then he does have, like we said, the missile attack. Now, the composite bow is going to have a range of 20 inches. And because our table is so small, right? So it's actually 12. I gave him an extra inch. And, but it is about 16. So, big adventure, tiny little bite-sized box. And as you can see, for the first time now, we have different kinds of terrain. And just to keep it simple, this is an introductory game after all. It's an intermediate game, kind of getting a little more complicated. I went ahead and just used flat 2D terrain, and the dark green is heavy brush. The yellowish is light brush. And what does that mean? Well, if we take a look at the back of remember this is our cardstock scenario book, comes included with the box. When you're in the clear, that would be the white, you can move full speed. Nothing, right? This boring old nothing happens. But if you're in the brush, that's the yellow zone, you move at full speed. Oh, interesting. Okay. And then, but you have a +2 to your missile defense. So it doesn't slow you down, but you do have a slightly, you're kind of hiding in the tall grasses. And then for morale, because you feel a little more protected, you can duck down and duck away. You get a +1. So different effects based on what we got. And then according to the scenario, this is clear brush and then heavy woods. So the dark green are heavy woods. You move at half speed. You're shooting at anybody. They're at +4. And then there's a +3 to the terrain. This also has, the basic turn order and, movement, move forward costs 1 inch. Okay. So you have to start within 1 inch of the terrain. And as I said, the adventurers set up first. So they're going to set up. So we're going to send this old boy right here. And then we're going to send Mr. Bowman right there. Because we want to try to whittle down the bear. I don't know if I pointed this out, but the bear has an endurance of 46. That means that he has to take 46 hit points. And this is a fight to the death. We're still not doing morale, it doesn't look like. Eliminate your opponents from the playing surface. Well, this is an intermediate game, so I am going to use the morale bonuses because that's what the terrain is all about. I want to try to train my brain into thinking about morale in that sense, that you can be a little braver if you've got the protection of tall grasses. Then the bear moves last. So our adventurers get to move first. And I want to wait for the bear to come to me. So I'm going to bring him up 3, and I'll bring him up just 1 more. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Maybe we'll bring him up here, and then we're good. Then Mr. Bear is going to go, and he can only move at half speed. Normally he moves 9 inches, but at half speed, we can move 4.5 inches. So he says, I don't want anything to do with that bear, so I'm going to move up to here. Now the question is, wait a minute. If it's half speed here and full speed here, why doesn't he move at half speed to the edge and then full speed from there? And the answer is, them's the rules, bro. If you move through heavy woods at all, that whole turn, your maximum movement is 4.5 inches. You don't have to worry about ideal rates because it's 4.5 inches every time. In fact, I can bring them up here. Heavy woods, block line of sight. And for the record, heavy woods are the only woods that are blocking terrain. That means for light woods and medium woods, if you trace the line of sight through those, you're looking at the missile defense, right? And again, you can't shoot into or out of heavy woods. We'd have to think about that. Can you shoot into the woods if somebody's standing in it? No. I think as long as you're in those woods, you're all set. So now the question we have is, what's Mr. Bear going to do? He can move 9 inches. And so he probably doesn't have quite enough motion to engage with our archer. But he can run over here. He does have the speed to race around and engage this guy. He gets a free spin to target that. Did I say ogre before? He's gonna face Mr. Bearman there. Now, Mr. Bearman gets to attack first. For the record, you only fire in your front firing arc. So by coming around the woods, he's now out of the front fire arc of the bow anyway. Okay, you can't fire into melee, can't fire if you're in melee. So there's a lot of restrictions there. I'm not sure that bow fire is all that powerful. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, what this means is our large bear is going to make a melee attack. He's got 3d6 plus 4, and he is trying to get a total of 12. And if he does, then he does the high die plus 2. So what did I say? 3d6 plus 4, looking for a 12. The death die means even if you roll below your target number, which we did, if this die comes up 1 and none of the other dice do as well, 2 1s, always a miss. Doesn't matter what else you roll. Death die a 1, no other 1s, that's an automatic hit. But as I said, we're going to do high plus 2. And the good news is he rolled a pair of 2s. So he's going to do a total of 6 points of damage to poor old Finial. Well, but Finial has armor 1, which means he soaks up the leather armor. He's going to soak up one of those, and he only takes 5 points of damage. I don't see a morale score for him on here, so we're not going to do morale. That's why we're not doing morale yet. If we had to worry about morale, I wonder what it would look like here. Later scenarios do include for Garmal, I don't know what he is, but he has a morale score of 8. And since we don't have a morale score, he also, by the way, if you have morale, there's a little M there when you cross off the box next to it. All right, so we're not doing morale. We're just doing a straight up fight to the death. And that means that with our 5 points of damage, Finial is going to get to make a counterattack. And now he only rolls 2d6, but he gets an automatic +6. So interestingly enough, no, wait a minute, 5/9. Yeah, that 5/9, the bear got a 9, which is still too low. And I didn't notice Finial. He's a pretty slick little guy there. All right, so anyway, the point is he's going to roll 2d6 plus a 6. And I think we still need the death die. So 2d6 plus a 6, he gets a total of 9. And he's trying to beat a defense of 10. But again, we got the death die comes up. So interestingly, there's an interesting wrinkle here. You can always hit, but even when you hit, he's doing low times 2 plus 1. So low times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3, and the large bear has a thick hide, our owl bear. So he's going to do a grand total of, that would be, we'll take that 2 points of damage. You're going to have to do a lot better than that. Now that ends the bear's turn. And our human friendos are going to be able to come sweeping in. And I said he's got a movement of 7. So he's just going to come right in. And now it's just a whole series of people whacking on each other. Not a whole lot of decisions to make in a game like this, but it is an introductory scenario. Our next one is going to be this Demon's Prey. It's going to be another 1v1. Still trying to get the hang of all of these individual rules. So it is what it is, right? I'll pull my setting aside over here. There we go. Without morale in particular, it gets to be kind of same. All right, in this case, we'll give Finial the first shot, and this time he's going to get an 8 plus 6. He gets a 14, and his low times 2 plus 1. Now the 1 and the 1 cancel out, so I just need to worry about him doing low times 2. He's going to do another 4 points of damage to Mr. Bear. We're doing a little bear baiting, and now Teliel, with his falchion, gets to roll 2d6 plus a d10. And he's, again, trying to get a total of 10 or better. He definitely does with that. And he does high +2, so he will do 9 points of damage. And that will take out almost a full row. Organized in groups of 10. Just like, I'm going to throw a bone to my Euro bros, just like all sensible things are. But the owlbear now gets to try to take out Finial. He's going to be rolling his 3d6. He's going to be adding 4. And, you know what? I forgot the 1 damage. All right, comment section, settle down. That pencil stinks. Get rid of that. That's garbage. Here we go. He has damage reduction of 1. So he only took 8 damage. Got it. And then Mr. Bear is going to roll 3d6 plus 4. So he gets 13, which will beat a score of 12. He does high +2. That is 7 points of damage. And Finial, he got caught lacking. So Finial is going to go kashwitch. And then Mr. Bear gets to spin to Archer Man and make another attack at 3d6 plus 4. That's a big one. He's going to do 12 plus 2. And then he's got armor reduction of 2. So the 2 and the 2 cancel out. So we're going to do a straight up 12 points of damage. And Teliel is going to be left with just a single point of damage. Can he do all of this damage in one shot? He's got to do 16, 17, 18 points of damage. He's probably not, and not with a roll like that. He does get, that's a whiff. D6 plus 10, yeah, and 8 going up against a 10, he has failed. But it's his turn, So, you know, he even got 2 attacks here. So if he'd hit, that might have gone a little better. That's going to be a hit. High +2, -2. He does 10 more points of damage. It's going to take our Mr. Bear down to here. And these Bearmen of Soul, all right, just finish them off. Even 1 point of damage will do it, and that will do it. Our Adventurer, TPK. I didn't even know we were running a funnel. This is you know, these games don't take this. Honestly, I know we're like 3 weeks into this, and we really haven't seen what the game has to offer yet. We've been doing all these introductory scenarios, but I'm committed to playing all of them. And so you know, we could even, I'm a little inclined to say, look, this next scenario, let's do scenarios 4 and 5, right? What's going to happen is they're going to play a little mouse, you know, little mouse, cat and mouse game through the caverns here, right? An ill-fated but bold adventure, Lord Holu lost all his retainers in the treacherous ash layers. He is a Kulmayan warrior lord. So the ash layers is like kind of like the Underdark, right? It's down deep, and so we got a little demon guy, and they get in a fight down here. And the question is, who gets to attack first? So we're going to whip through this one pretty quick. The demon has the black die, and he gets to attack first. So after all of our jockeying for position down there in the Underdank, old Mr. Demon gets the first attack. What does that mean? Well, we can compare. And now look, we have defense, we have shield, we have armor that does damage, cuts head damage in half. So this old boy is in heavy plate armor. And somehow he's able to hold a shield. See, look, see? My figure's got the shield on his back. What is that shield? I don't remember what I painted there. Oh, it's just a backpack. Okay. So we're going to give him the benefit of that. He's a pretty heroic feller there, though, as you can see from the stats. Lord Holu, I think he's probably got a better chance here than our adventurers did against the Mighty Bear of Soul. You know, these games only take like 5-10 minutes. So you can work through all 4 of these kind of introductory scenarios, lickety-dang split. Let's do that. With the movement rate, it makes sense. Agath is going to be able to close, and he's going to get the first attack. So with 3d6 plus 8, holy cow. But he needs a 16. Well, he only needs to roll an 8 or better on all 3 of these dice, and as you can see, he does. He is going to do medium times 2, because so here's our high, here's our low, and the medium is tied, so that's going to be 6 times 2, all right, but we do half, so that's 12 points of damage, but then we cut that in half. Oh, so that maybe, I wonder if the scenario is designed that way. This is just going to be like medium, and then no armor, all right. And then here we have armor here of -2, which effectively means that Lord Holu is going to be doing high +2 damage. But as I said, Lord Holu gets whacked first, so he takes 6 points of damage, and he's already bleeding there in the caves of the ash wastes. All right, but he does get to retaliate on this turn, and he is going to be rolling 3d6 plus 6, so he ain't no slouch neither. However, a result of a 12 ain't gonna cut it. So now the Lord Holu gets to attack on his turn. And this time he is definitely gonna hit. That is gonna be a 14, and he does high +2. So he's gonna do 10 points of damage. So we can cross off 6, and another 4 is 10 points of damage. But the demon gets to counterattack and is gonna roll an 11. Plus 8, that's 19. And so he does medium damage, and that's going to do 4 more points of damage. So although he's not doing as much damage, Lord Holu has half the hit points. On the demon's turn, Lord Holu counters, and with a result of a 12, plus 6 is 18, he's going to win. You know, he's got a defense of 16. I got to remember that. This is an effective 16 that we're trying to roll. But again, with the plus 8, we're really just trying to roll an 8 or better on those dice. He is going to do high +2, so this time he's going to do another 7, and that's going to wipe out the last of those 2, and these 5. So the demon is down to 16 points of damage. Bit of a roll-off. We're getting kind of a D&D feel here. So we needed to roll an 8. We didn't get it, so the demon misses. Then Holu attacks. And I've already lost track of where I'm at here. Holu is going to be doing high +2. That's another 8. I don't remember whose turn it is. I could just alternate back and forth, but that's not quite. So there's 5, 6, 7, 8. the idea. So now Holu gets to attack twice. Oh, that's what it is. Everybody gets to attack twice in a row. And man, that's a really good roll. Not only does it get past the defense of 13, but because he does high +2, it's all 3 dice. We're doing 17 points of damage, and that's going to take out 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, leaving the demon with just Agath, the flightless demon dragon. Oh, I should have got my dragon miniature out. That's fine. He's only got like 9 hit points left. But now he gets to make 2 attacks against Holu. And so long as he gets an 8 on these, so medium, he's going to do 6 hits on the first one. And then on the second one, he's going to do, that is a hit, he's going to do 3. So 6 and 3 is 9 more points of damage. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now Holu is down to 8 points of damage. So 8 and 9, but Holu gets to make 2 attacks. He's going to score 4, 4, and a 6. For high +2, that's 8 more points of damage, leaving the demon with just 1 more point. And I think you can see now. So 7 plus 6 is 13. We have succeeded. Wait, is this a target number or is this an active number? Do I need a 14 to hit these guys? After a quick check of the rules, you have to exceed the defense. In other words, this is a miss. That was his second attack. So now he's in trouble because Mr. Demon gets to roll twice. He's going to do medium damage. So that's going to be 5. And then we roll 1 more time. And remember, he needs an 8. Oh, no, he doesn't need an 8. He needs a 9 altogether. But he gets the auto hit for 2 points of damage. So that first one was 5. The second one was 2. Oh, let me leave this one alive. That right there. So our hero is down to just 1 hit point. And he gets to make his 2 attacks. He scores a 7, and remember, that's not enough. And then he scores a 13. That will do it with a high +2. He does 8 points of damage, and so that's going to be the end of Agath. You walked through the wrong portal, Mr. Demon Dragon. And that's it. So we now got through 4 scenarios. Bing, bang, boom, and there's not a lot to them. So as we close out here, let's take a look and see what happens with scenario number 5. Like I said, now we still aren't dealing with morale at all. Okay, so we're going to do the wages of sin, and this is a table that is 32 by 22, so we have a little more room to work with here. We got a lot of heavy woods, and we've got what is this? It looks like a Lord of Culm and his aide versus 3 Echorin bandits. So there you go, 2v3. But we still haven't incorporated like all of the rules yet. I wonder what we added here. I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll cheat. I think we've got through this all right. If you guys are ready for it, I think maybe we're ready for an ambush. Right? Game length 30 turns. Wow, that's a long one. And it looks like, man, we got some boys going. Now we get to worry about Bladestorms. At the end of every turn, roll 3d6. If you're rolling 18, those Bladestorms appear. Look at this. Oh, boy. I don't know if I have the terrain for this. We'll have to think about how to do that. Maybe what I'll do is just lay my road pieces out. And then we can just say, ooh, we'll throw some trees down. And then I might have to finagle this a little bit and just say each of these bands is 2 inches away from the road. Drop some. So we got some thinking to do. But the thing here is now we've got 21 elite swordsmen set up last in column order. Yeah, she's getting, and now we finally have our morale scores on the table. I kind of feel like morale would really change this game. Subterranean Doom. We have another one. This is game designers. This is easy to write on paper. It's hard to build on a table. Maybe it's just me. Maybe you got all the Dwarf Forge stuff, but I ain't messing with that. That's just a little too much for me. What else we get? So yeah. So forget scenarios 5 and 6. I want to see what's going on here. So we've got 21 elite swordsmen and Lord Dooku or Duru. Oh, it's not. If it was Dooku, I was totally going to call him a count. So Lord Duru, who is a Colmayan leader, and he's got all kinds of different abilities. So he can give a +1 to melee to anybody within, what's his influence range? 0. Oh, he's got to be with him. So if he's with this unit, then that unit gets +1 morale and +1 to their defense score. Their armor is better. And then the Acheran remnants of the Acheran field army, there's going to be 8 of those, and there's going to be an Acheran leader. So what 21 V8? Is that right? Oh, and then these, and it looks like we got these 3 guys as well. So we have 1 unit of 8 with a leader, and then we've got these 3 heroes. That's going to be a little complicated. But you know what? I think we're ready for it. I think we've gone through the gauntlet of the basic game. I've had enough of just everything devolving into a simple roll-off. I'm not sure today was the best video ever, but it has certainly cemented into my mind and into the mind of the viewers exactly how this game is played, at least on the basic level. So next time we crack open old Pete, is it Tom Fenlon? I keep wanting to call him Tom Fenlon, but I think that's because of the Tom, what's his face? Designer Coleman Charlton. Who's the guy who was Terry Amthor. That's who I was thinking of. Well, I'm a hot mess. I don't know who any of these people are. Here we go. Ice Management, production manager Terry K. Amthor. He wrote a bunch of the material in the source book. Maybe that's what it is. For the rule book, it's Coleman Charlton. Proper credit where credit is due. We don't want to take that from anybody. Till next time, fellas. I'm praying for you.